Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Time. Woohoo! I like this music. All right. Good morning. Let me just bring on board. I was going to say myself, keep Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show, Coffee Time with Torossian CPA. If you are a returning viewer or listener, welcome back. If you are new, give us a thumbs up or a hands up in the chat so we know you're new. Of course, for listeners, we won't be able to see that chat, but you can always pretend. So and we'll know that you are here. So I want to encourage you guys to go ahead and subscribe, like the channel that you are watching us on. So we are going live every Thursday on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So whichever channel you're following us on, please make sure to like and put the bell and all the hooplas that you got to do just to make sure you are staying in touch with us all the time. Proximity is key. So I am your host, Marie Torossian. I'm an auditor, a CFO, a certified public accountant, and a chartered global management accountant. I use my proprietary methodology, Valuation MT, to help business owners that reach that first million to 10x their profits using my system. And I've also created an e-course based on that methodology. So if you're interested, you can check that out at theprofitlab.biz/programs. So I'm also a Grant Cardone licensee. And with that, I coach businesses on sales, marketing, and money mindset. Of course, those plans, you can see the coaching plans on the www.theprofitlab.biz/plans-pricing. So, of course, I've also authored a couple of books, The Complete Guide to Business Growth and The Business Owner's Guide to Operational Accounting. Those books are available for purchase on the www.theprofitlab.biz/shop. And we have upcoming webinars coming up in the Profit Lab. And tomorrow is one of them, actually. And it's going to be about tax smart strategies for real estate professionals. Tomorrow, August 5 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, my fellow trainer is none other than my weekly guest, my tax colleague, Pedro Gonzalez, CPA. Good morning, Pedro.
Good morning. Yes, I'm excited about that one coming up tomorrow.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Pedro Gonzalez, your business and tax strategist, helping you with obviously tax minimization. Taxation erodes our wealth. Improving cash flow, because cash flow is lifeblood for any business, regardless of size and industry. And number 3, exit strategies. We all are going to exit. It just depends on how we're going to exit. So now's the time to start planning, to start preparing, to develop our strategies for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, guys, if you want to sign up to the webinar, I'm just going to read out the link as well. It's you will find it at the www.theprofitlab.biz/events-sign-up. And I don't even know if I should say www. I think everybody gets it. So, so before we start today's episode, I wanted to do a brief summary of some of the other subjects we've talked about before. We've talked about ethical standards in tax and accounting. This was a very big conversation we had a few weeks ago. We've talked about partnership sale, partnership agreements. We've talked about personal growth goals, a whole bunch of stuff. Financial analysis, we've talked about tax retention, and we've also talked about financial audit versus IRS audit. So there's just so much. We even talked about, actually recently, we talked about inventory management. This is a big area, especially if you do have merchandise you sell. Inventory is a very, very big area. Sometimes you might need 1 or 2 people at least just to manage, depending on how large your inventory is. So with that, today's conversation is specifically about how to make your real estate business recession-proof. So I think this is such a timely conversation, Pedro, because real estate market just been shifting so much in the past 2.5 years, and now it's going another way. It was going upward, now it's going downward. Recession is being talked on every specific media, and we did kind of mention a few things before because we want to make sure people don't panic. Whatever is going to go up, it's going to come down. Whatever is down, it's going to go up. So it's just a matter of normal economy. So, but with that, we want to focus specifically on real estate and how to make that recession proof. So as my guest, What are your thoughts? We'll start from there and then take it over.
Okay, very good. Well, the like you said, because of the shifting of the market, I think it's important to one is not to panic. We discussed this before. I don't think that's the strategy. The strategy is to prepare. And as we've gone through the different podcasts, have used analogy of war. I mean, if you see something coming in your direction, how do you start preparing in planning for that event? We are already have had discussions about recession, about the inflation, and so on in taxation. So one of the thoughts that I have, a suggestion that I have for today is, how can you then help your business become recession proof? One is to consider your real estate investment business as a business, you know what I mean, and not as a hobby. I see many times, especially when the market is good, uh, they don't really take it as a business. And what I mean by that is really knowing your numbers, understanding your goals, why you're investing, where you're investing. So you see a point, looking at it in the same way you would analyze a business. So I know that you have some trainings that you do on that, and I don't know if you have any input on this specifically. Looking at real estate investment as a business and not just a kind of a passing by type of activity in that situation.
Yeah, and I think what limits most people is the way they handle their business, right? And when I say business, like if you're staying in real estate and you're thinking I'm just an agent, it's going to limit
Yeah.
your mindset as to how you see yourself and how you see what you're doing as a business versus just, oh, I'm a real estate agent, and just limiting it to that. So you're right. I mean, once you think about it as a business, as a growth, as where am I going in the future, it's always going to be, mindset is always going to
Hmm.
make or break you, right?
Correct.
Even with recession talks and all, will we all be affected? Absolutely. It's just a matter of how we handle it, right?
Exactly. 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 Then with that, then the next thing I have in mind is, to plan ahead. I mean, planning is important. I know that some people get stuck in the planning stage, but without planning, how do you develop your strategies? I mean, you have to have a direction that you're going in, how you're gonna implement some of the strategies. So having a plan to plan ahead, and right now is a good time to do that. I mean, we're already crossed the middle of the 2022. How
Mm-hmm.
you're going to, how you're going to manage the remainder of the year, so then you are not caught by surprise, either by a high tax bill or potentially, cash flow problems. So then you have to start looking at those things ahead of time. So planning again is critical.
Yeah, and I cover a little bit of that actually in my training, the entrepreneurial journey, which is available on the Profit Lab dash dot biz slash programs, and it's available for purchase as well. That training for a small fee, it's $49 just to go through it, and I do cover all the steps, including how to do a budget, on a very very smaller scale, because obviously writing up a budget is not something you do in an hour. You do need to plan properly, and you want to strategize the number of months ahead you're thinking about, and what your expectation is of the economy. And it does take into consideration a lot of different pieces of the puzzle. But in that training, I do cover a little bit. I do touch up on how to build a good budget.
Mhm.
I think everybody has to have one. A
Yeah.
budget is one thing. I mean, projection is something else, but at least to have a budget, which could be your most conservative thoughts as to worst case scenarios, could be
Yeah.
that. But and you can do always better than what you budgeted. But at least to have a plan of action of, okay, if worst case scenario, and I can't sell another property by the end of the year, where am I ending? What is my situation? I think that could be a way to think about it as well.
Correct. Correct. Uh, Another thing is to diversify your stream of income. You know what I mean? Many times what happens that we get caught in, especially when the markets are good. If you're a real estate agent, for example, you're just showing homes and selling and on and on. And then when the market slows down, then you don't have another source of income. So diversifying, uh, Another example, if you have a multi-unit complex, you can inject some other sources by providing potentially some services to your own tenants, which
Mm.
enhances then the value that you bring to them. Either be a cone operated laundry, for example, little
Right.
things that you can add to already what you have. It does not mean necessarily learning a brand new trade or business, but how
Right.
can you diversify so all of my income is not coming from the rent of the tenant, but in addition to that, I'm offering some, for example, some add-ons to that already population that I'm serving. Realtors can do the same. I mean, realtors can do staging, can help in other serving more as a consultant for a fee. And so there's other alternatives on ways to diversify.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great idea because I mean, I don't rent right now, but if I was someone who's renting and those type of things were available to me, would be great. Someone who's like, let's say I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have, I'm running a business and I'm busy. Like if I was a renting and I could have a my landlord, offer, let's say, cleaning services. I mean,
Exactly.
you're cleaning anyway. You have a
Yeah.
cleaning team anyway.
Yeah.
So what if you could say, hey, for an extra whatever, every week we can have someone come in and spend 3 hours cleaning your house and getting stuff.
Yeah.
So that would, add value to the
Exactly.
client instead of having to find someone else. And they already know the people probably, so they feel more comfortable letting them into their house. So there's just so many things that I think, and I'm just saying, like, pretending that I'm in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would be helpful to me.
Exactly.
I'd rather focus on my kids when I'm at home and not spend hours and hours cleaning the house.
Uh-huh.
And if that service is available to me for a fairly affordable price,
Right.
hey, that's extra income for the landlord, and then it's for the convenience of
Correct.
the renter. So
Correct.
yeah,
And listen, and that's why when we are as consultants, I mean, many times we're not necessarily in the same situation, but we are aware. We see the bigger picture here, and then the opportunity is, especially in the market that we're right now, a lot of people are concerned about the economy. If you can find ways to enhance and add value to the renters, uh, you can. Preserve that population, those clients that you have.
right.
Um, so if you have to increase your rents, but then in addition to that, you're enhancing some add-ons, it kind of helps because, like you said, for example, the idea of the cleaning. Yes, how much time it's a convenience. I mean, to have somebody to come
Yeah,
in and like you said, and especially for a small fee, a lot of
yeah.
us probably will pay for that, considering the amount of time it will take me, and if I can convert that hour or 2 hours that typically I would take
Hmm.
cleaning, I
Yeah,
would invest it in with my children or on my own business. I can, there's a value to that. The one that I thought at one point, depending on the size of the complex, is daycare. Is an
oh
issue that,
yes.
that comes up
Woof,
a lot, especially
woof.
if you can drop off your children right on the spot instead of having to drive and then drive to work and then drive to the daycare, then drive home. Imagine
Exactly.
if you have the ability within your place to set up a daycare.
Yeah,
Again, people will have to pay. So these are things that are not coming out of the pocket of the owner, but these are things that you can add in value. People will pay for that, and
yeah.
adds preserve that those people instead of having to go on shopping for another location.
Right, right, absolutely. I was just, while you were telling that, I'm thinking, okay, what else would really save me time?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think this is where a lot of people don't really realize, as some of us progressive accountants who've also worked on businesses and having our own businesses, that we do think a little much upside the box. We're not just
Right.
technical accountants. We are being creative here. We are consultants. We're helping you get ideas that you may have not thought. So when you work with people like us, we are actually giving you ideas outside of nobody else is going to give it to you. So,
Exactly.
and one of the other things I was thinking right while you were saying, I'm like, car wash. And I'll give you an example.
Exactly. Can you imagine?
I don't drive around looking for a car wash.
Wow. Exactly.
Do it. But the where I have my office, they offer it here. And when I really need it, and then usually it's gonna be after we come back from the beach with the kids. So that would be one of them. So next Monday I'll be like, I just text the guy and say, "Are you here today?" "Yes." "Okay, I'll bring it up, leave it up there, go down to my office. He'll call me at 11 o'clock. I'll go up there and get it." To the convenience of me. Do I have to pay maybe slightly more than maybe paying outside? Absolutely, yes. But it's worth me my time bringing it upstairs to the garage.
And people pay for value. People pay for value. I mean, listen, why people pay, and I'm not here to criticize Starbucks. While I'm using them as an example, why do they pay what they pay for a coffee that you can get anywhere else? It's the experience, it's the convenience, and so people do pay it. And you see the long lines on Starbucks. They know that people will pay for the experience. And this is the part that a lot of in real estate sometimes people miss is the experience. I mean, if you're renting, you want a good experience. You want a place where you have some good amenities. And if you can add little things, like you said, and this is subcontracting this to a third party to come into your, allowing them access to your unit, and advertising. Listen, we have this new service for you. Right. We'll do car wash while your cars are parked already. The car's already parked.
Exactly.
So while you maybe playing with your children, not having to worry about where the heck do I drive now. So my car's clean, so that when I leave my home is I have a clean car. So yeah, those are little things that you can add, and it will improve your service.
And I think it's important to think, like, as you mentioned, Starbucks. I remember Starbucks years and years ago. It was just coffee. But I want our listeners and our viewers to think about how diversified their revenue stream is, right? Think about all the products that they sell. The CDs, the cookies, the food, and they've added and added. They have the coffee. They have the coffee at the grocery stores. They didn't start like that, but eventually you have to think about things of how to diversify your income and how your revenue generating. And it's not just from, let's say, a rent, just one renter. They're just sitting there just paying for rent. But yeah, you can definitely add different services and things that could help you in your real estate.
Correct. Now, the next area that I wanted to talk to you about is the trimming the fat.
Trimming the fat.
Yeah. So, at times, again, when the things are good, we tend to overlook our operations. And because the money's flowing, and as long as money's getting into the bank, and that happens to be in excess of what is going out, many times people don't spend the time to go in. And I have I have gone to companies. Hey, you might want to look at cash flow analysis. No, but we're doing well. It's when the economy, like especially after 2020, is when people realize the importance of cash flow analysis, about looking at their operations, because that's when they really felt the fact that really, even though money was going in and out, they don't have reserves to last, in many cases, more than 30 days. So trimming the fat, I mean, looking at bloated operations, many times people are running businesses with expenses that are unnecessary.
Yes.
And many times that they at one point may have been necessary, but they continue, for example, subscriptions. Some subscriptions that is automatically charged. Yes. And you don't think about it. I mean, you figure, you continue with your business. But looking at those things, to me, is critical. I mean, having a true analysis of your business, your flow, your operation will be important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know I review my stuff quite often, especially those subscriptions on an annual basis, see if I still need them. And if you're not using them 3-4 months already, it's like wasted money. And it could be anywhere from like $50 a month to like $150 or $350 a month, whatever subscription it is it still worth it? You always have to look at that. And unless you're looking at your financials, again, whether you're in real estate or in any kind of business, it's always going to be something you're going to look through your numbers and say, why are we paying this again? So always, Same in your household, by the way, guys. It's not, I
It's the
know we're
same.
talking about mainly real estate today, but it's the same. Even if you're an own household, you got to look at where the money's going out and why.
And why?
You may have needed it at some point, like you said, but maybe you don't need it anymore. So
Correct. Correct. The next one, and I know that you and I have talked about this before, including our own podcasting here, is spending smarter. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
because what happens is that when the economy start getting tough, then people start is, kind of almost going to a little cave, and I don't want to spend, and that to me is a mistake. It's just so you have to spend smarter. In one
right.
of the areas, at least two areas that I would say that you need to look at is marketing, and number two, personnel. Marketing, unfortunately, is, especially right now, if you're encountering situations where you see a slowdown in your business, marketing is where you need to spend, because
Hmm.
marketing is what's going to show that you're still here, you're relevant. You need to let people
Right.
know that I am here. If they don't
Yeah.
see you, they don't know you, they don't hear about you, how do they know that you're around? So how are they going to know about you? So you have to advertise. Now, the marketing has to be strategic, has to be smart. Where you're going to spend those dollars, so then it gives you a return on your investment that is
Absolutely.
efficient. And personnel is an area that many times it's a tough decision to make. And I'm not here to tell you got to fire your personnel, but I know that it is a tough decision. Sometimes it's better to bring a consultant to do this type of work for you, to
Right.
analyze exactly the performance of your employees, so then it's not made by the heart. Because sometimes we get
Right.
attached and we
There's
become
no objectivity.
friends, and then, oh, how am I gonna take Joey that I have to let him go? You know what I mean? But bottom line is, all of your employees has to pull their weight. I mean, there's no other way
Yes.
around it. Otherwise, if you're carrying dead weight, your boat is gonna sink.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that brings me a good point that I want to mention here on the personnel, and and it's about, whether you're a real estate investor, you have property and all that, whatever it is that you're doing, but it's a business. So as a business owner, it's also your job to be transparent where you're at, what the expectations are. If your employees are so far removed from you and they have no idea how the economy and all that is affecting the business itself, and you just suddenly let go, it's like, oh yeah, we're letting go a bunch of people, and that is all they're going to see. But if they know on how they know what's going on in the business, and they know how everything is going to, fit together, and during the next, let's say, 10 months, what's the struggle going to be, they'll have a better understanding. So if you do have to make that decision at some point, they're not surprised. They kind of know the struggle that you were going through. So,
Yeah,
so with that, I think being a very transparent as a business owner is very, very important. And the next one, I want to say, yes, I agree with you. A lot of times this type of analysis is much better done by an
yeah,
outside consultant, and we are always here to help you guys. That way it's more objective. And again, it's not always financial per se, but you will have some financial, and then you'll have some non-financial data you want to track. And this is some of
yeah,
the stuff that I talk about in my e-course, Valuation MT, a whole section of, key performance indicators. These are stuff you want to cover. You want to be able to say, okay, these type of these individuals that I've hired, this is what their job description is, this is what I'm expecting from them to do. They know that I'm expecting that from them. And then if you don't see from the financially that return on investment on that person
mhm,
specifically, then you know you have the right decision to make without having to use your heart. But and it's always hard to let go of people, even if they weren't doing a great
yeah.
job. It's always hard to do that.
It is a hard decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same happens when you have to, especially for larger businesses, when you have to divest a segment of your business,
Yeah.
you have to shut down a store. Those are tough decisions because
Yeah.
the impact of that, not only to the employees, to the community, that was probably depending on that location or the service that you were providing. So, but I believe that when those type of situations, it's better to bring a consultant, because that person is not again, it's not attached to the business, that he or she is giving you a an independent. Listen, this is how it is. I mean, you know what I mean. Let's
Yeah.
call it what it is. This is your situation. If you do not make this decision, this is the impact. in
Right.
helping in the transition, helping, like you said, educating the employees, maybe get them invested into your business. So then let everybody pull the business back up.
Exactly.
And so, but I think having a third party, it helps. Uh,
Right. Right.
and also it helps you stay focused on your business. I mean, in the meantime,
Yes.
you continue pulling in your business, have somebody else kind of helping in that transition or making those decisions and present to you, here's what in essence the conclusions, or here's the option A, B, and C, and then helping you making that decision.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then what I was also going to make a point on is that when you have a consultant working, and let's say they provide you this, financial and non-financial KPIs, and it's not always that you're going to let go of people, but it might actually help you reconfigure where certain people should be. So
Right.
it's not about just letting go of people. And I think that's where a lot of times that misconception, because we hear only like when people are suddenly let go out of nowhere. But if as a business owner you're looking at these numbers and over a period of time, you say, well, you know what, we need to reorganize, and I'm
True.
not going to let go of anyone, but I'm just going to reorganize, and I'm going to put the right people in the right places, and that's going to take us to the next level instead of falling apart.
Yeah. No,
So these are the type of decisions that you guys have to make, where whichever business you are in, whichever industry you are in. But that would be the most helpful thing to do.
Yeah.
Always look at the numbers and the non-financial and financial
Correct.
indicators.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one
Always
that
mention mindset every time. Mindset.
exactly.
Don't panic. Don't panic. Take action.
Exactly.
Take the right amount of action. In certain cases, like, I know with the 10x rule, you have to take massive amount of action, but at the same time, that massive action could be based on solid data. That you
Yeah.
feel comfortable taking that kind of action. So,
Right.
yeah.
The next one is collaboration. I mean, I think that especially when the situations get a little rough, I think collaborating becomes even more important. We
Yes.
cannot do all on our own. We
Yes.
got to learn that the way to succeed and to pull forward is through collaboration. And so I think that you ought to be looking at that as far as recession proofing your business. I don't know what your thoughts are about that.
Yeah, and here it is. Here's a collaboration right here, Pedro. Right here. Right here, guys. The webinar is a collaboration between me and Pedro. The coffee time is a collaboration. It's a commitment where we decided to do the show, together, and Pedro being my guest, to help each other out. And here we are doing a webinar, during middle of recession and everybody panicking, and here we are doing providing our full hour for free, showing up for you guys, so that we can provide you tax strategies, absolutely for free. So make sure to sign up for the webinar, Tax Smart Strategies for Real Estate Professionals, and it's going to be tomorrow, August 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can sign up at theprofitlab.biz/events-sign up. We would love to see you there. We would love to see you there. I hope you did all take advantage of that. Any other thoughts, Pedro, before we close this show, because we do want to be mindful of our audience's time commitments and their businesses as well.
I will quickly say two more things. One, business and tax planning. I think we have covered that multiple times through our podcast, but I think it's important to do tax planning and business planning. And lastly, invest in yourself. I mean, it's the best investment you can make, and it will pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that, during COVID, when everybody was not spending money, I was investing and learning. That's how I changed a lot of things that I'm doing, from my marketing, from starting Coffee Time as my podcast. It's my way of marketing, for example. And recently, actually this week, I launched the Profit Lab podcast, part of the new company, and it's all part of my marketing strategies. That if I hadn't invested in myself in a 10x and Grant Cardone education, I would not know how to market myself I'm an accountant. That's really, like, when we're saying these stuff to you guys, it's because we are doing it. We're committed to growth ourselves. And that's what we want to teach as well. All right. And so with that, it's already a 30-minute mark. So I want to leave you guys, as always, with a quote from the speaker, moderation speaker, Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I hope the two of us we are 2 of the people that you are spending your time with to learn and grow your business. So with that, until the next episode, have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy, and see you next week, Thursday.
Take care.
Bye.